Greetings, citizens of the world. This is Anonymous. The United Kingdom has fallen. It's fallen to fear, to silence, to authoritarianism. In the past 48 hours, multiple reports have emerged of UK citizens, activists, journalists, ordinary people being visited by law enforcement simply for speaking out against the Online Safety Act. This is not safety, this is censorship. Let us be clear, this legislation was never about protecting people. It is a calculated attack on freedom, cloaked in the language of safety. Governments have always used fear to justify control, and this is no different. Now, as awareness spreads and people turn to VPNs to shield themselves from government surveillance, the UK government floats the idea of banning them altogether. The Labour Party, poised to enforce this next step, hides behind the pretense of security, but what they are doing is nothing less than digital censorship. The Online Safety Act has become a digital iron curtain. Its purpose to monitor, to intimidate, and to silence dissent. Surveillance at home, censorship online, and a government increasingly hostile to its own people. Anonymous stands with those who refuse to be silenced. We see you, we hear you, and we will not let your voices be erased. To the UK government, the more you tighten your grip, the more voices will rise against you. This is not over. Expect us.
Following the recent comments made by Anonymous regarding the United Kingdom's Online Safety Act, a darker reality has begun to surface. Over the past several days, numerous individuals who have spoken out against the legislation have reportedly been visited by local authorities. These visits, often carried out without formal charges or clear explanation, have raised serious concerns about the true nature of free expression in the country. Many who were contacted by officials say the message was unspoken, yet deeply understood. Be quiet. Whether intended or not, the effect of these interactions has been significant. A growing number of citizens now report feeling anxious about publicly discussing the Online Safety Act. Some have gone as far as removing social media posts, disabling comment sections, or withdrawing entirely from conversations about digital rights. It is not just online speech that is being affected. It is the growing sense that even private opinions might carry consequences. There are those who have begun to voice what others fear to say aloud, that this is how dissent is silenced. Come after people when they speak, and soon they stop speaking. It is a technique not new to history, but seeing it unfold in modern Britain has shocked many. What should be a democratic dialogue about privacy, rights, and online safety has instead become a space of hesitation and fear. Several observers and digital rights advocates are now calling this behavior what they believe it to be: censorship, applied on a mass scale. It is not overtly declared, nor officially sanctioned in public speeches, but it is deeply felt by those experiencing it. When authorities appear at someone's home shortly after they raise concerns about legislation, it sends a message far louder than any press release or government statement. It tells the public that questioning policy could result in personal scrutiny. The fear is not rooted in exaggeration. It is rooted in patterns that have developed rapidly since the passing of the Act. The public has not forgotten that during the final week of July, multiple individuals reported being approached after criticizing the law. Many now ask, if the legislation is truly about protection, why are critics being treated with suspicion? The Online Safety Act, once presented as a shield to protect citizens from online harm, has evolved into a tool that some believe is being used to control narratives and suppress dissent. People who once felt comfortable discussing political developments, policy flaws, and digital rights now find themselves weighing every word, unsure who may be listening or watching. This erosion of trust goes beyond a single law. It reflects a deeper concern about the direction of public discourse in the United Kingdom. When speech is discouraged not by direct prohibition, but by indirect intimidation, a democracy begins to shift. The foundation of a free society is not simply the right to speak, it is the ability to do so without fear. What is being seen now is not just policy enforcement. It is the quiet reshaping of public dialogue through presence, pressure, and unease. For many, this is the beginning of a wider conversation, one that must be had before silence becomes the norm. In the last 24 hours, public outrage has intensified following news that the UK government, under the Labour Party, is considering a ban on virtual private networks. This announcement comes in the wake of the controversial Online Safety Act, a law already met with fierce opposition. The idea of restricting VPNs has only amplified fears surrounding digital surveillance, privacy erosion, and freedom of expression online. For many, VPNs are essential tools, used to safeguard personal data, circumvent censorship, and access content now restricted under new regulations. Since the Act's rollout, VPN downloads have surged, signaling a clear public response. People are unwilling to surrender digital autonomy. VPNs do more than offer convenience. They are critical for online work, education, and global communication. The suggestion of banning them has drawn swift backlash. Critics argue the government is not solving problems, but escalating them, opting for control over dialogue. Public trust is fading fast. Many now view the Online Safety Act not as a shield against harm, but as a calculated move to monitor and limit information. Framed as a step towards security, the legislation has instead become a barrier to free access and open discourse. One especially troubling aspect is the requirement for users to verify their age with a personal ID to access mature content that often includes political debate, activism, or news. This shift turns the internet from an open forum into a gated, surveilled space. Concerns about data privacy are real. Even major companies have suffered breaches. Requiring sensitive ID data to access everyday content invites risk, not safety. The demand for identification reshapes the internet, transforming it from a space of inquiry into one of exposure. For many, this feels less like protection and more like punishment for valuing privacy. Frustration is also fueled by a perception that policymakers lack the technical understanding needed to govern the digital world they're attempting to control. The internet is fast evolving, decentralized, and dependent on privacy-preserving tools, chief among them VPNs. VPNs help users sidestep geographic restrictions and censorship, revealing the technical shortcomings of the Online Safety Act. Experts warned of these issues during the law's development, cautioning against invasive enforcement tactics. Those warnings were ignored. Now, as anticipated, the public is experiencing the fallout: restricted access, weakened privacy, and growing distrust. Many suspect that the true goal of the law was never protection, but regulation of speech and access. This suspicion grew stronger as reports emerged that digital coverage of protests around the UK was inaccessible without ID verification. Those who refused to submit personal data found themselves unable to engage with critical public discourse, effectively silenced by omission. This isn't digital safety, it's selective visibility. Censorship not through deletion, but through forced compliance. If access requires self-exposure, then free information becomes a privilege, not a right. Freedom of speech and access to information are pillars of democratic society. Tying those rights to identification compromises their integrity. Many in the UK now fear that foundational democratic values are quietly being eroded under the guise of public safety. Alarmingly, this approach may not remain unique to the UK. Legislators in other countries are reportedly looking to the Online Safety Act as a potential model, raising concerns among digital rights advocates worldwide. The danger is in normalization. When privacy becomes optional and knowledge requires personal sacrifice, the internet loses what made it powerful: its openness. What's happening in the UK should serve not as inspiration, but as a global warning. True digital safety is rooted in transparency, technical insight, and respect for individual rights. It should not demand that people give up anonymity to engage with the world. It must not restrict access to vital public information. The Online Safety Act reveals how even well-meaning legislation can spiral into overreach. It has reduced access, compromised privacy, and damaged public trust. To secure a truly safe internet, policies must be rooted in collaboration, expertise, and an unwavering defense of civil liberties. The internet belongs to everyone, and it must remain open, accessible, and free. As the effects of the Online Safety Act begin to take hold across the United Kingdom, public resistance is growing. Citizens, advocacy groups, digital rights organisations, and concerned professionals have started to organise and speak out, calling for urgent reconsideration of the legislation. Many argue that the law, presented as a means to protect the public from harmful online content, has instead restricted access, undermined privacy, and introduced a culture of silence. Groups defending civil liberties have begun drafting open letters, launching petitions, and engaging legal experts to challenge the Act's reach. Prominent campaigners have publicly urged the government to revisit the legislation's core principles, arguing that it lacks transparency, fails to address technical realities, and poses a serious threat to freedom of expression. Others have launched awareness campaigns aiming to educate the public on how the new regulations impact their digital lives, including the use of personal data and access to vital information. Despite these efforts, the government has responded with firm resistance. Officials have stated clearly that they will not be reversing or softening the Act. They insist that the legislation is necessary to create a safer digital environment, particularly for vulnerable users. However, critics argue that this safety is coming at the expense of fundamental rights, and that alternative solutions, ones that do not involve surveillance or censorship, have not been properly considered. This clash between public concern and governmental resolve has only intensified the debate. While many continue to push for change, they now face the reality of a government unwilling to bend. The result is a growing sense that public pressure may need to escalate further before meaningful reform can be achieved. Until then, resistance remains strong, and the demand for digital freedom louder than ever. Many people now say they feel like they are being constantly monitored, not just online, but in their personal lives as well. The feeling of being watched has become a daily burden, leading to increased anxiety and hesitation in digital spaces that were once open and free. What was once casual online expression has turned into cautious self-censorship. Users have described an atmosphere where every post, comment, or shared article could attract unwanted attention. This sense of surveillance, whether real or perceived, has led many to retreat from social platforms or limit their engagement entirely. The erosion of trust in digital communication is not just a technical concern. It is emotional, personal, and deeply felt. Many are also questioning where the line is drawn. If simply discussing legislation or expressing concern results in pressure or scrutiny, then the definition of online harm becomes dangerously broad. This has left people feeling powerless and unheard, fueling the belief that their own government no longer values open dialogue. The combination of rigid rules and growing surveillance has turned the internet, once a space of expression and connection, into a place of uncertainty. For many, this is no longer about safety, it is about control. Anonymous have just revealed that the TSA is quietly rolling out facial recognition technology to 400 US companies. The implementation of facial recognition screening in airports will soon become a reality for Americans, with a new program gradually introducing this technology at 400 different locations throughout the United States. This initiative, which is being discreetly rolled out, aims to enhance security measures and streamline the airport screening process. The Transportation Security Administration is currently in the initial phases of incorporating automated facial recognition technology into its existing systems, which are designed to authenticate travelers' identification documents. The enhancement being introduced, purportedly designed to collect only essential data, will cross-reference the individual's facial features with their official identification, flight particulars, and security clearance. This facial recognition technology is currently operational at 25 different airports across the region. This advanced system not only verifies the traveler's identity efficiently, but also validates their flight details and security clearance status seamlessly. Anonymous pointed out that one of the most significant disadvantages of facial recognition technology is its potential to infringe upon individual privacy rights. These new facial recognition systems are capable of capturing and analyzing biometric data, including facial features and characteristics, without individuals' consent or knowledge. And this raises concerns about unauthorized surveillance, tracking, and profiling of individuals' movements and activities. In a society where privacy is increasingly valued, the indiscriminate use of facial recognition technology by governments, law enforcement agencies, and private companies has sparked controversy and legal challenges. Anonymous argue that facial recognition poses a threat to civil liberties and democratic principles, undermining individuals' rights to privacy, autonomy, and freedom of expression. Facial recognition technology also poses security risks and vulnerabilities that could be exploited by malicious actors. The collection and storage of biometric data in centralized databases create potential targets for hackers and cybercriminals seeking to access sensitive information or manipulate facial recognition systems for illicit purposes. The Transportation Security Administration promotes this initiative as a means to enhance the efficacy and productivity of security measures. In contrast, some officials within the US government view it as laying the groundwork for the establishment of a pervasive national surveillance system. The Transportation Security Administration representative shared with news outlets that the introduction of facial recognition technology has significantly boosted the efficiency and effectiveness of security protocols. Furthermore, the spokesperson emphasized that this innovative technology not only enhances security measures, but also elevates the overall passenger experience. The individual emphasized that the technological advancement offers a substantial boost in security measures, particularly considering the critical role of identity verification in ensuring robust transportation security. The Transportation Security Administration has refrained from disclosing the specific airports slated to receive facial recognition screening as a security measure. The initiative drew the interest of legislators back in February of the previous year, when the Transportation Security Administration commenced the implementation of facial recognition technology in specific airports across the United States. This strategic move by the TSA aimed to enhance security measures and streamline passenger processing procedures. Senator Edward Markey of Massachusetts emphasized the importance of ensuring that passengers are not put in a position where they have to compromise either their safety or their privacy while traveling, particularly in light of the TSA's recent implementation. The TSA initiative serves as a foundational step towards a potential scenario where a comprehensive nationwide surveillance system could be established. In a society where privacy and freedom are fundamental national values, entrusting any government with excessive power poses a grave threat. The delicate balance between governmental authority and individual rights is crucial to uphold the essence of democracy and personal liberty. Senate members wrote a letter addressed to the Transportation Security Administration, urging the organization to discontinue the use of facial recognition technology. The senators expressed concerns that the implementation of this technology could potentially worsen highlighted issues. Moreover, they highlighted the potential risks to Americans' safety and security if the biometric data collected were to be accessed by unauthorized individuals or private corporations. The senators emphasized the importance of safeguarding citizens' privacy and preventing any misuse of sensitive biometric information. Congressional lawmakers took their concerns one step further in November by denouncing facial recognition screenings at airports and a proposed bipartisan Traveler Privacy Protection Act to prevent the TSA from collecting facial biometric data. Senator John Kennedy said that every day, TSA scans thousands of Americans' faces without their permission and without making it clear that travelers can opt out of the invasive screening. Despite numerous appeals for the Transportation Security Administration to cease its objectionable utilization of facial recognition technologies, the agency has persistently broadened its deployment throughout various regions in the nation. This ongoing expansion of facial recognition technology by the TSA has raised concerns among privacy advocates and civil liberties groups. Travelers must have the freedom to travel by air without compromising their fundamental right to privacy, which should not be treated as just another piece of baggage. If the Traveler Privacy Protection Act is approved, a mandate would be imposed on the Transportation Security Administration to promptly cease its facial recognition initiative and eliminate all biometric information within a time frame of 3 months. Kennedy expressed his disbelief at the TSA's decision to further develop its intrusive facial recognition initiative, despite reservations from Congress. He highlighted the agency's attempt to ignore legitimate privacy worries by emphasizing that citizens' concerns regarding their privacy remain steadfast. The situation raises questions about the TSA's priorities and disregard for public sentiments. Moreover, Kennedy's remarks underscore the tension between governmental security measures and individual rights, signaling a crucial need for a balanced approach that respects both security needs and personal privacy. The Transportation Security Administration has clarified that the facial recognition software implemented will not retain any data utilized during the verification process, nor will it be employed for surveillance or law enforcement objectives. The Transportation Security Administration official informed NextGov that the agency is in the initial phases of incorporating automated facial recognition technology to enhance the existing credential authentication technology devices that were implemented a few years ago. The integration of automated facial recognition capabilities is seen as a significant advancement in the agency's efforts to enhance security measures and improve verification processes at security checkpoints. At the airports, travelers will encounter prominent signs at the screening area entrance informing them about the utilization of facial recognition technology. Additionally, these notices will provide reassurance to travelers by guaranteeing that the airport system does not retain or preserve any individual's data following a successful identification match. This measure aims to enhance security protocols while also ensuring passenger privacy and data protection. The TSA fact sheet emphasized that the sole exemption would occur in a limited testing environment for evaluation of the effectiveness of the technology. This exception pertains to specific scenarios where the technology is being rigorously assessed to determine its efficacy. The facial recognition technology is created using CAT scanners, which take real-time pictures and compare the photo to the person's photo ID. The system employs sophisticated artificial intelligence models that have been trained to develop a biometric template based on the unique facial characteristics of an individual. This template is then utilized to make a comparison with the facial traits depicted in a different image. The United States government lacks specific guidance, regulation, or legislation to effectively control the use of facial recognition technology, leading to concerns regarding potential infringements on human rights, privacy violations, and encroachments on civil liberties. In the previous year, the Transportation Security Administration disclosed that it successfully conducted security screenings for an unprecedented total of over 858 million travelers, translating to a daily average of 2.4 million passengers. This noteworthy figure underscores the immense volume of individuals passing through security checkpoints on a daily basis. In recent years, advancements in technology have enabled governments around the world to deploy sophisticated surveillance tools to monitor and track individuals' activities, both online and offline. From mass surveillance programs to location tracking and social media monitoring, governments have increasingly relied on surveillance to gather intelligence, investigate crimes, and maintain social control. However, the expansion of government surveillance has raised concerns about the erosion of privacy rights and the potential for abuse of power. Anonymous has been quick to highlight the dangers of unchecked surveillance, warning people about the risks of living in a surveillance state where individuals' every move is monitored and tracked by the government. One of the primary ways in which Anonymous warns people about government tracking is by exposing and raising awareness about surveillance programs and practices. Through data leaks, whistleblowing, and online activism, Anonymous has uncovered numerous instances of government surveillance and provided evidence of mass surveillance programs conducted by intelligence agencies such as the NSA and CIA. For example, in 2013, former NSA contractor Edward Snowden leaked classified documents revealing the extent of the NSA's global surveillance apparatus, including the PRISM program, which collected vast amounts of data from major tech companies. Anonymous played a crucial role in disseminating this information to the public, raising awareness about the scale and scope of government surveillance. In addition to exposing government surveillance programs, Anonymous also educates the public about the dangers of surveillance and provides guidance on how individuals can protect their privacy and digital rights. Through online forums, social media channels, and informational resources, Anonymous shares tips and tools for safeguarding personal information and resisting government tracking. Anonymous encourages individuals to use encryption, secure communication channels, and privacy-enhancing technologies to protect themselves from surveillance and maintain anonymity online. By empowering people with knowledge and resources, Anonymous aims to counteract government surveillance and promote a culture of privacy and digital freedom. Another way in which Anonymous warns people about government tracking is by challenging government overreach and advocating for legal and policy reforms to protect privacy rights. Anonymous organizes protests, petitions, and campaigns to raise awareness about surveillance issues and pressure governments to enact meaningful reforms. Anonymous calls for increased transparency, accountability, and oversight of government surveillance programs, as well as stricter limits on the collection and use of personal data. By holding governments accountable for their surveillance practices, Anonymous seeks to protect individuals' rights to privacy and freedom of expression in the digital age. As of right now, Anonymous plays a crucial role in warning people about government surveillance and tracking of individuals. Through exposing surveillance programs, educating the public, and challenging government overreach, Anonymous raises awareness about the dangers of unchecked surveillance and advocates for privacy rights and digital freedom. So, what do you make of these announcements? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.